final hour of Rapid Dawn for this Wednesday morning. As always, it's going to be an interesting time, an enlightening moment right here in the studio because it's where we get to hang out with the girls. But anyways, of course, Nenwa Randon Yomazaka is here. And then the other person seated right beside me across the table is a guy just wasting time in the office doing absolutely nothing. What a waste. And I'm like, you know what? Come on here and be useful. So that's why we're three in the studio this morning. Hi, guys.
Hello.
How you doing?
So you guys had to help me, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we had to help you.
I was helped.
What use would it be you just lying down there doing absolutely nothing?
Today's a good day. So
Men should be productive.
Thank you for helping me.
Men should be productive.
I agree.
Right.
So we
I
have
agree.
to draw them into the studio.
Tell me you don't love it
Welcome.
here.
I mean, after your both knees were on the ground, what do you expect?
How?
I just have to accept
Prove
it.
it.
Nice.
You know,
With
prove
these
it.
tees on the ground.
See, you're dusting up.
No,
the-
look at it. Like, prove it. Who begged you? Nobody.
But it's always
begged.
fun here, so
But it's
and
always
you
Right.
can't deny it.
No, I can't deny that.
Absolutely.
anyways.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
can't deny it.
wanted to make your day more fun. Welcome. As always, we always talk about relationships, the girls, the boys, people. But when we talk about the boys, we literally drag them. That's what we do over here. Drag them for good reasons anyways. So it's not a feminist kind of bitter hating men kind of situation here. So it's always interesting. But today, we're talking about something that has affected almost everyone at some point, except myself, of course. It has affected almost every single young person that I know. And in our traditional slangish slang, we call it breakfast.
Breakfast.
So at some point, one point in your life or another, we probably might have experienced a heartbreak, or we would have chopped breakfasts at one point. But yes, one thing still remains. The fact is, a lot of people still find it difficult to move on after a heartbreak. Some even get so delusional by going back to visit the ex who broke their heart because they want closure. And that closure ends up opening more wounds, making you think that you're going to get back together, and then it goes sour again, and then you cry. It's a vicious circle, I promise you. But we're going to be exploring, we will try to explore some of the reasons that people cannot move on from heartbreaks. And if you eventually find yourself in a situation like that, what would be your quickest means of escape?
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to the Girls Hangout for Rapid Dawn. This is the point where we clap. Yay! All right.
Welcome. But now, but I said last, everybody go chop breakfast. So.
Yeah.
So even if you have not eaten it before, it might just be somewhere in the pipe.
Why will I say this swear for them?
It's not swear,
let's say you
but
must chop up.
I think it always will happen.
No.
And no, sometimes, no, right? So I know there are people who haven't experienced
Exactly.
it
And
at
might
all.
never experience it.
Sorry?
And might never
I
experience
might
it.
never experience it. But when we talk about heartbreaks, we're not just talking about romantic relationships. You have heartbreak one way or another. It's
Right.
either you plan to come out of your house and then the boss leaves you. Have you experienced that kind of heartbreak before?
Okay.
Exactly. Or you are making, let me tell you the worst, the one I can relate to. So one day I was making noodles, of course, love noodles and all that. And then I'm the person who would watch numerous videos on how to make something. It's not that I don't know how to make it, but I just like to look for more creative ways to make it, because I think that the prettier the food, the easier it becomes for you to eat it, right? So I saw where you can just break the eggs while the indomie is boiling. You just break the eggs and it just boils. So you put like 2-3 eggs, it just boils and forms a lump, and it's so fine.
Okay.
Korean style, you get it.
Ramen.
After the whole thing, the day I decided to try, and then I break the egg and it was rotten in the noodles. So when I saw someone post it, I was like, I can so relate to this, and it's so painful I can relate to it. So tell me that is not
That is a
heartbreak.
real
That is heartbreak.
Yeah.
So,
Especially when you've added all your ingredients.
all your
in it.
ingredients, everything. That's the last thing to add in the pot.
No, that's
and then I
heartbreak.
add the eggs. It was rotten, smelly, rotten.
Sorry.
You know,
How did you deal with it?
I just put up the cooker and I closed the pot and I went to sleep.
I knew she wasn't going to
That
eat
was- that was
anymore.
all.
I was good. I just went to sleep. I psyched myself to make that, and then I do it, and it turned out bad. I'm not eating.
I mean, the person that sold you that egg, what did it do to the person?
Sometimes I feel like, you know, it's not. They're not. You can't hold them.
It's-
No, you should be
exactly,
able to
because
hold them, most
mo-
times,
they might not know.
Sometimes, you know, I mean, it depends on how long the egg might
And you know,
have stayed with
sometimes
you
it's
as well.
just worn out of the whole crate.
Whole crate.
But now one they buy.
It's it's not one, right? But it might be from my end because I have had it, you know,
For a while.
for a while. So it's not like something
so
like
not
I eat
you
all the
bought
time.
immediately.
Exactly.
I thought you went to the store, just picked a few.
No.
You know, so it's
So
from
you
your
see,
crate.
I can't even hold them. You can't blame anybody at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
but yourself.
True.
Because you
Yeah.
could have. So that is heartbreak. We have experienced it in one way or another.
Of course.
Or as a child, you forgot what they asked you to buy,
Hey.
and then you bought something differently. You came back home.
You
We
go
have
back.
experienced it. This, I mean,
Go
we
back.
have all had heartbreaks.
Oh,
in
on
one
a
way or
very
another.
special day, and then of all days, you now had a wardrobe malfunction that very day.
Why can I relate to all this?
So you
I
have
don't
broken
think
I
in
mean,
different ways.
different way. So,
Very-
in fact, I cannot say I haven't experienced it at all. I had an
Yeah.
event one time, and I went to get like shoes, clothes, and all of that. I ended up just dressing up there and everything because I was running late. And I got to the event and found out that I bought 2 separate legs of shoes.
Ew.
And I wore the shoe like that because it
became the
was a
fashion
flowing
statement.
gown. Because it was a flowing gown. I wore the shoe like that. I went for the event. I didn't know how to tell the person I bought the shoe from that. Look, you gave me 2 separate legs of shoe. How are we going to solve this problem? Was kind enough to say, I hope you didn't step on the ground. I'm like, no, it was just inside. I said,
Right.
okay, you can
You
bring
can
it
bring
back.
it out. No,
And that was how I was able to
gracious.
return it because he was also going to lose since it was opposite
Yeah.
sides of the shoe.
Yeah, no.
uh,
You won't be
in
able
shop.
to sell the others. So.
Yes, but yes, let's talk about this. Is just
Heartbreak.
laying a background
Right.
for everything, but we'll talk majorly about romantic relationships because this is the one that relates to us. I mean,
Yeah.
on every level, we would experience these heartbreaks when it comes to your expectations from life. But when it comes to your partner, do you think that you can control whether or not you would have a heartbreak in a relationship? Do you think a person is able to control that? Because how come some people experience it and some people do not experience it at all and might never, just like you pointed out?
Yeah.
So why do you think it's possible to control heartbreaks, whether or not you would experience heartbreaks in relationships?
It's difficult to say yes to that because things don't always play out the way we think they do. I mean, you might be having a very rosy relationship with a person, everything is going up beautiful and all of that, and you never really thought that anything could go wrong in this particular relationship. Everything is just so beautiful,
Smooth.
it just looks so perfect, you know. But there could be some things that has been brewing up.
Okay.
It's either unchecked emotions, untalked about occurrences or stuff like that, and sometimes it just builds up or piles up. Or one person in the relationship, you know, is doing something that is not, you know, part of the value of the relationship that you're already holding on to. And then sometimes when it blows up into the person's face, into the other partner's face, it becomes sometimes unforgivable, you know, because you never expected that this person could be doing this
Yeah.
thing. One clear example is one person may be cheating, clear example. And but in front of the both partners, the both of them are presenting themselves to be very comfortable within themselves, very satisfied within themselves. We know one to another person, but one person might just be seeing some other person differently. And once that blows up, you know, it becomes very much it becomes heartbreaking. You see it as a betrayal, you know. And so the point I'm trying to make is that you might never be able to hold all the cards to control whether your relationship, whether you get a breakup, a heartbreak in a relationship or not. The best you can do is be an amazing person that you are, and then have that opening for growth, evolution as a person. You know that definitely you're going to evolve with this person from one phase to the other, but you can never control entirely the outcome of a relationship most times or sometimes.
Okay. So for me, I think the same way you can't particularly control when you're falling in love is the same way you can't control heartbreak.
I think you can control that, but
We've had that conversation before.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, there's a certain level to which you can control it, and but there's a certain level where you yourself, you just want to flow in it. But coming back to heartbreak, I believe that if the person was someone you genuinely loved, you will certainly be broken. You will certainly feel that pain. I feel if you don't go through that, because I believe life is in phases, you know. Same with love. So once that thing comes to an end, you are supposed to feel something. But again, for most people, when it looks like they didn't go through that pain phase, most of the time it's because they might have already expected it long before now. So there are some people in situations where they already start seeing some signs, and so their minds were already prepared that if it is what I think it is, then this relationship is done. So
sometimes even when you're expecting this until it manifests, you might never be, you can never be fully ready for a heartbreak, because sometimes you think that your mind is getting prepped because of some of the things you've seen, but the moment it happens,
no, you still feel the pain
of it.
No, yes, you still feel the pain. Like the angle I'm coming from is because she said if you can control heartbreak, because for some people it looks like they don't go through that heartbreak phase. Oh, the relationship is over, oh yeah, we move, and then it looks like you're not pained, nothing changed about you, your relationship just ended and you're normal. That's what I'm saying. For most of those kind of people, it's usually a case of either along the line in the relationship, the love faded out, so they got to a point where they didn't really care. That's why I said, if you really genuinely loved the person to that very point where the relationship ended, you would feel that pain, that heartbreak. You have to experience it. Now it is how you now handle it, how you move on from there, what you do with the pain is now where the issue is. But feeling that, and I feel like, in fact, I'll still be repeating the same thing, but I feel, of course, if you're in a relationship with someone, you should genuinely love the person. And to an extent, I would advise that you go through that phase. Yes.
The breakup phase?
Yes.
Heartbreak?
No, the heartbreak, rather. Yes.
It's important to
go through it.
Well,
it helps to even be sure that your emotions are in check. Because
some people don't know how to handle heartbreaks. That's the truth. But I've always wondered how people move from loving each other so much, wanting to talk to each other, to not wanting each other at all. I've always wondered. It's such a drastic change.
It is.
In fact, we've heard so many recent, so many couple breakups, couples that we admired online recently, and hearing that they just split up. I'm like, these differences, are they really irreconcilable? Like, you guys looked perfect together. What happened? Why? But just like you said, I think that breakups are not entirely, or heartbreaks are not entirely a bad thing. And I'll give you an example. This example is the reason friends don't talk to their journalist friends. But I'm sorry. I was having a conversation with a friend, I think it was just yesterday, and she was talking about how, she liked somebody one time and then she agreed to go see the person. We were talking about how, I saw a tweet online, and the person was talking about how why he doesn't like dating app. He will never use dating apps in his life again because he just traveled from Kaduna to from Lagos to Kano to go and see a pregnant woman. And we laughed about it. Oh my goodness. And she's like, in her life, she would never go see anybody. She'd never travel to any state to see anybody again, except, the person had come and all of that. I'm like, oh, why though? And then she shared an experience with me saying, she had traveled over to see this guy whom she thought they were building something together, and he invited her over. So invited her over from Abuja, of course, to one of the major cities. So she went over there, and the guy they had a good run. Nothing happened between them, and they didn't fight, they didn't quarrel or anything. The only disagreement they had was he wanted her to stay longer as in 2 months. How do you leave your home, come to visit somebody, and the person wants you to stay longer? And she says that's not how things are done. I am answerable to people. I have siblings that are older than me, and family. And that was it. And the guy refused to book the flight back. So she had to she had to use transportation, because she booked her flight there. He said he was going to book back. Those kinds of arrangements, and he refused to do it. So she had already kept money for road, because she said I can afford and I always say have it. So she said I can afford one way, I cannot afford the second way. So but in any case, this is the money for the road transportation. And it was so good that she had that money put in place, because she went by road. The guy never called on the road from that day up until today. This is 2 years or so. They've never heard anything from each other and all of that. That was heartbreaking for her. That was heartbreaking. But I said something to her. I said, I'm happy that you went there and you experienced that, because now you know that was a wicked person. I don't have any explanation to that. Yes, no matter how you dislike somebody, personally, no matter how much I dislike somebody, when I know the person is going to be in transit, I just drop my difference aside. Exactly. And I want to know that you got to where you're getting to safely, and then we continue our beef afterwards. Because I'm responsible for you. You came to see me. So I'm responsible for you. Right. That's the only responsible thing to do at this point. But I said, look, I like to flip the script of pain and disappointment all the time. If you really look behind those things, there's always something to learn from. And for heartbreaks, I think it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
If you didn't do that, and at the end of the day, you go on and marry this person, and then you end up having a major disagreement in your relationship, know that this guy will not budge, because his yes will be yes and his no will be no, regardless of who is going to die by that decision that he's made. You know, that might be a harsh thing to say, but that was what he portrayed by acting that way, and not wanting to find out, at least if you had gone, or you'd say, oh, sorry, I just wanted you to stay longer, that's why, let me reimburse you for.
Which wasn't even something to, you know.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So he probably didn't love you at first.
No.
Probably didn't care about you at first,
And
but you had to break up to find out.
Right.
Now, the most painful thing is, sometimes people break up with somebody who has done something like this and end up getting back into the relationship, being talked back into the relationship.
Yeah.
But that's not the next step.
I just say people repent, so.
Okay.
Repentant, emotional people.
Let's say okay to that. But now, for you, what's that thing that would actually break your heart in your relationship, or that will lead you to completely turn away from a relationship? Let me just say your non-negotiables.
Yeah, that's the
what
word
they're called.
actually.
So
Yeah.
what are your non-negotiables, like when it comes to, today we are mirroring each other, so.
Very true. You know, one of the most outstanding non-negotiable for me is betrayal.
You have to say outstanding
Yeah,
non-negotiables.
that's the outstanding, you know, is betrayal and infidelity. You know, yeah, betrayal, infidelity.
Okay.
This situation just stated.
No, betrayal is a big, is an ambiguous
word.
word.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that part.
Okay.
But let's start with infidelity. You know, now, you know, over time, so I've shared with you guys how some of the principles that I've built, you know, especially myself and then with my circle.
Yeah.
And I've always told you guys that the moment we're with a person, it means that we are with this person come rain,
Completely.
come sun. You know, so it's a total commitment with this individual, which means that every other person, no matter how beautiful the person looks like, you know, Rich, you know, we don't be committed. And the idea of that commitment is to build something incredible, something tangible, and perhaps make it, move it to doing life with this person, you know, being with this person for life. And then along the line, there is infidelity from one party, you know. That for me will break me to the core. It's going to break me to a place where I might, as forgiven as I am, I might never be able to recover from that particular.
Even if you're married,
even if I'm married, it becomes even more difficult when I'm married.
can't
you know?
forgive that.
Now, yes, it's going to be difficult to forgive. Now, let me put this way: you might be able to forgive, but you might never be able to get yourself back up, you know, from
It's
that
okay if you
particular
don't forgive.
situation.
I'm
you know?
not judging you.
Okay. But yeah, for me, that is a non-negotiable, right? Because especially because, just like I stated earlier on, I'm coming into the relationship, and I've told you the reason we're here, and I'm telling you right now that I'm fully committed to you, and I'm intentional about it. It's not that I don't have my temptations, you know, or the urge or the nudge to look out there, but I'm saying I'm committed to taking my eyes away from every other lady and keeping my eyes on everything that has to do with me and make it you. We are both partners right now, so my life, you know, as long as relationship is concerned, revolves around you as a person. So I will not cheat on you, you know, and I don't expect you to do that for me. So once you do that to me, you know, it breaks me to the core. And then, you know, there are certain questions you now begin to ask yourself, especially when you find yourself in this particular regard. I know a few persons have these as a non-negotiable as well. You begin to ask yourself questions like, was that not enough? What was it I did wrong? So sometimes you just begin to do that self-evaluation, you know, and if you don't check it, it's going to mess your mind up many times. So for me, yeah, that is one non-negotiable, and I think it covers for a lot of other non-negotiables.
So cheating is a deal breaker for you?
It's a big time deal breaker for me.
So would you divorce a person because of cheating?
I probably might. You know,
Would?
Now, I probably might divorce or would divorce a person, you know,
Because of cheating?
Because of cheating,
Okay,
you know.
that
But I
makes
do hope
sense.
that we don't get to that point.
Yeah, we
All
hope-
right,
we
let's
hope so
hear
too.
it.
Okay, so I'm tempted to say I think cheating is like a general deal breaker, but everyone should speak for themselves.
Toyosi
Yeah.
doesn't think the same. Oh.
Who?
Well, we've heard that variously,
Okay.
various
It doesn't
times,
seem
right?
the
Nice.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, for me, cheating will also be, especially, I mean, now we're speaking at the confines of relationship, right? Ah, come on, we're just dating and you're already cheating.
Yeah.
What's there for me again? We move. So
When the marine go change.
oh really?
I mean,
Change
that's the lie
now.
people tell
By
themselves.
the way, I won't give you enough space to change. When you've changed far away, then maybe not. But cheating is certainly a deal breaker for me. and temperamental people. You see, anger issues.
They blew your eye.
I want to use the word allergic to it because of my kind of person. This is who I am. I don't have, strength to argue or do whatever. So imagine me now having someone who is temperamental, and then we have an argument and you're flinging things. No way, please. I will just disappear. So for me, that's like a very big deal breaker. If you don't know how to handle your, it might not be something that would like push you away almost immediately. If it's something you've acknowledged and you're intentional about working on it, okay, we could give time for that. But if you're someone who is owning up to it and you're saying this is who I am, you can keep your who I am to yourself. So yeah, anger issues, and then if you're not teachable. So now I'm going to sum every other thing under that, because no one is perfect. So I don't expect to meet you perfect. I'm not perfect myself. But once you're teachable, once you're someone I could speak to, I could correct, and you take it, then we're good. Any other thing, we'll hold our hands together, and make those corrections and build. But you see, these three, those are my really big deal breakers. Yes, that's, of course, there's religious parts, but I'm keeping that since it's like a general, So, but these three are big stuff for me.
Tell us.
I know you.
She knows she's the next person.
Wow, I passed the baton. I'm the one coordinating the questions here,
Exactly.
so I don't necessarily need to answer the question.
Okay,
But
so we want to hear it.
This feels like a gang up, but yeah.
I mean, we're blue. What do you expect?
Oh yes. So much more than, I know cheating is like basic. Everybody knows that. Oh, nobody really likes cheating. But personally, if I find out that I struggle to be myself around somebody, that well, we're not even getting there in the first place. That's the truth. So if I cannot be myself wholly and truly, there's absolutely no reason to get in there in the first place, because you're going to find yourself trying to be somebody that you're not every single time, and this will make you start to have inferiority complex. You doubt yourself, you doubt everything about you. You would not be productive, and I do not like not being productive. So for a deal breaker for me is somebody who I cannot be myself around. Somebody who does not, personally, I think that attraction starts for me through my ability to communicate with you and be able to communicate properly. So it's such a big deal. I mean, we're communicators, so it's such a big deal. If I find that I struggle to pass across messages to you, and you struggle to understand me, or you also struggle to pass across messages to me, I would not indulge. And that's because I found out that when there is miscommunication or there's difficulty in understanding, there's always anger there. Because one person will misinterpret you by saying, oh, this person is like this person is sounding like this, while in truth they don't really understand what you're saying. So you find yourself drained up in that relationship, trying to prove yourself, trying to communicate properly. These are things that wear me out. I might be able to manage physical stress, but I don't know how to manage psychological stress. Anything that bothers me, or when I'm at my job, anything that starts to psychologically affect my ability to carry out my responsibility, I don't joke with it, and I don't tolerate it at all. And it's the same thing with personal relationships for me. If it's now a threat to me and my peace, I cannot rest, I'm always having to prove myself to you. Oh, I'm, there are some people that make you feel guilty for being the type of person that you are. Let's say I'm a fine girl, for instance. Now they try to make you explain yourself. Oh, nothing is happening. Oh, this person is. Do I have control over the people that will look at me? No. Do I have control over the people that would admire me? I do not. So if you have an insecure partner also, it will just put you. So these are things I will not negotiate. A partner that is insecure, I would not. You can't even be a partner if you are insecure. That's the truth. Firstly, that. Secondly, if I can't be myself around you, and thirdly, what did I say? I can't remember. But these are communicate. These are the three non-negotiables for me. Cheating, I believe that if you're able to walk your relationship through this point, you communicate properly, you are yourself around your partner already knows not to cheat on you. That's the truth. Your partner already knows. I think that these things start off from the foundation. I make it super clear when I'm talking to somebody, and this is not just for relationships for me, even friendships, I make it super clear that if I have to think about where I am in your life, I'm not supposed to be there in the first place. That's it. And I make it super clear that my peace is important to me. If this is going to threaten my peace in any way, let us just go now.
Separate ways.
Our separate ways now, and let us just end it there.
Even to add to some of this, thoughtfulness is also a thing. Right, a lot of persons are not so thoughtful anymore in this.
It can be taught. That's the good thing.
Right. I mean,
okay, thoughtfulness, like teach or taught.
No, like when you can do something without being asked. But I think it can be taught.
Yes,
It should be a red flag.
Say?
It should be a deal breaker.
He doesn't like people that are not
thoughtful.
Okay,
it is.
No, because I feel it's something that can be taught.
It could
like
be.
You could teach.
Thoughtfulness can be taught, or intentionality.
You have to be intentional about it, So you've got to learn to be thoughtful, And if having conversations, kind people are almost getting rare now in this part of the world, truly. So what you have is people who has demands of what they want in relationship.
Yeah, out for themselves.
They want, this is what I want the guy that I'm going to be in a relationship to be. These are the things I look out for in the guy or both in the girl. And then you forget yourself. Who you're supposed to be. Because it's a two-way street. I'm in a relationship with you. You're in a relationship with me, which means you're going to do your part. I'm going to do my part. So if I don't get to do my part, I'm expecting you alone to do your part. It's already a failed relationship. So from my part as a person, I've got to learn to be thoughtful. I've got to learn to be kind. I've got to learn to understand that this person that is in this relationship with me, there are certain things that this person also needs. And I'm bringing it not personal, because a lot of times we take it outside to, what we expect from these individuals. Having a conversation with my guy, just last week, and then we were just talking, and then
is he here?
Don't do that. Okay, so just randomly we just talk, and my guy actually loves to cook, and he makes great meals mostly. So
that's why you are always there.
Yeah.
so we were busted. So we're together that weekend, and then he made a very great meal. In fact, he had just experimented, and it came out right. There was no spoiled egg there.
Well, you had to shade it.
Don't take it personal. But he says something, and that actually struck me. He said, Moviko, I can't wait to get married. I really want to spoil my wife with beautiful meals and all of that. I'm like, see her face? and I'm like, yeah, that's a way to go. Now, it takes a level of intentionality to think about what I really or he really wants to do, for his partner, not just the expectation that he wants from the partner. So these are things that while you're expecting them, you also have to build it in your own self. Knowing that one, you demand thoughtfulness, you've got to learn to be thoughtful. And sometimes how you teach a person is by acting some of the things that you want this person to do for you or do for you as a person. So you show the kindness, you do the gift, but I've been asked, it's a random gifting, and these are things that should be put into consideration.
I'm sorry, I want to ask a question.
To me, right?
Between men and women, who do you think are more thoughtful in your relationship?
So I don't like to do it gender
honest.
No, this is how I like to do
no,
it.
I know what I'm asking. Yes,
yeah, I know where you're going, but I've not done that. I've not done that statistics. But I think it's more of a personality thing than a gender thing. So you could have a lady or ladies who are very thoughtful, and then there are also guys who are also very thoughtful.
Even if they give you box and singlet,
actually.
So it's the thought that counts. But anyway,
making a case for your gender now, you understand? But it's just being intentional.
Yes, I have a mentor who says that there's a version of you that will never be able to receive what it is that you're praying for.
Yeah.
You have to work on yourself to be able to attract what you want. What you want requires a higher calling. Yeah. A higher calling in the sense that you need to be a better version of yourself. So if you're demanding intentionality as a man or a woman, you also need to be that yourself. So if you're saying, I want somebody to be like this, like you said, we are all very fond of throwing out demands and less of, and that's why a person who is quick to point out errors and never about fixing the problem always is not going to be it for me. So if you are stating the problem, also come forward with solutions. So if you are saying, oh, I don't want somebody to be like this, what will I do that would cause my partner not to be intentional about me? I work on that, and then I'll get an intentional person. Not 100% guarantee, but most times you attract what you become.
Yes, I agree.
And that's how life is. But we are way past the half of the hour, and we've been talking the whole time. Coming from people who said they knew nothing about heartbreaks, right?
I mean,
we still don't know anything about heartbreak, do we?
Oh,
don't you guys?
We don't. We don't.
When you say do, when you're looking at me like, we like this thing.
I have the inside gist, but we'll talk about it when we get back. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. It's been the Girls Hangout, and I've been here with Nen Morandon Yilmazaka and Victor Ake.
Yeah.
We're
Less
back.
excitement. But anyways, we've been talking about heartbreaks and how to deal with heartbreaks. And right now, we'll just move into the last lap of the conversation, which would be how to deal with heartbreaks. I know that some of these things are unforeseen, which means that you cannot plan for them, like we established from the start of the show.
Sure.
However, there are recommendations as to how to deal with heartbreaks, whether it comes from heartbreak of losing a loved one, heartbreak of separating from your partner. And you know, sometimes we ladies tend to be the ones who break our hearts by ourselves. And I'll give you an example. You meet a man today and you have already planned wedding dress, you have planned everything. And then when it doesn't work out, you are upset, you don't like the guy anymore. And he didn't even tell you that he liked you. You see, how to heal from that one. So maybe if you stop being a little delusional, you'll just be fine. But yes, we'll talk about how to. How do you think it's the most important ways to handle heartbreaks? Have you been in one yourself? To be honest, you don't have to tell us the experience. Have you been in one yourself? How did you heal from that, and how did you move on from that?
Oh yes, I've been in one myself. And talking about it now, it just reminds me of this scientific fact. Scientifically, the part of your brain. I mean, heartbreak actually activates the part of your brain that activates the physical pain. And that's why sometimes heartbreak can be so deep, like you're having this excruciating pain. That's because the part of your brain that helps you feel the physical pain is what is being activated once your heart is broken. But there are certain ways to deal with it, anyways. And sometimes, one of the mistakes that we make as individuals is we try to want to keep contact with this particular person. You know that this thing is broken.
I wonder why people do that. I'm sorry.
Because it's difficult to let go of.
Difficult to let go.
It is difficult to let go. I mean, you've been invested with the person for say 2 years or 3 years, and you talk with this person every day.
But relationship is gone. It's gone. Everybody
that's the thing.
moves.
No, so it's not that easy to move, right? It's not that easy again because first you've invested your time, your emotion, quite a lot of things, in this particular relationship, with a person, and it seems like your life now revolves around this person. This person,
which is very not healthy, right?
No, see, we'll get to that part now. Because when you're in a relationship with a person, there's the level of vulnerability you have with this person.
I agree.
So you are just all in with this individual, and it's both ways, not just from one side. It's both ways, and so again, there's a level of investment there, and there's that joy and happiness you have when a relationship is thriving. So once that is taken away, sometimes it's like someone is just pulling the rug off you whilst you're standing. And so the fall most times is great. And once that kind of fall comes, it comes with so much pain. But sometimes even when you fall, you're still trying to reach out and still seek help from the person who actually pulled out the rug. And that's where the mistake happens. So going back and trying to reconnect with a person that's maybe relationship has already ended, I think it's a very, very disastrous thing to do, because this has ended, and you know that sometimes we know that this thing, it's irreparable, but letting go becomes a problem. So one of the things you need to learn to do, as difficult as it is, because the truth is you have the temptation to go reach out to the person, and then just to make a lie, you just make your mind tell you, Yakubu, manage. It could be like say you want that, but no, just carry on. So sometimes you have that temptation to want to reach out to the person. Avoid that temptation. Right, the feeling is going to be there 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 1 week, maybe sometimes 1 month. As much as possible, avoid reaching out to the person, because the more you reach out to the person, the more clinged you are to that particular person. So one clear advice is, as much as possible, avoid communication or contact with that particular individual.
That's the word, right?
Disconnecting is difficult, understand? But just intentionally disconnect from the person. Learn to avoid contact with that particular individual, and gradually just move. Then talk to someone. Many times when people are heartbroken, they get into their shell and they want to be left alone. They don't want to talk to anybody. You know, learn to talk to someone, and that's why it's good to have good friends around you most times. In this part of the world, the concept of therapy is not so pronounced, so it might be difficult to even seek a counselor. You know, but if you have good friends around you that you can talk to, if you have good siblings that you grew up with, that you guys have a good relationship, talk to someone in that particular regard, and you just might be amazed how talking to someone, you know, can actually help you, you know, sort of better the whole situation.
Right.
But these are some of the things that you just need to.
So, ma'am, let's hear you. How do you
Okay,
think a person can deal?
So I think first of all, accept that the relationship is over.
Very key.
So because that's the truth. Why would you be going back to a relationship that has ended? It's obviously because, I mean, in your heart, you still feel like, no, this shouldn't be. Maybe something can accept.
There's still hopes.
This is over. It is over. It is over. And then again, sit and have a conversation with yourself. In all honesty, right, heartbreak is painful. So it's going to be very difficult to, like, when you're in that phase, all of these things we're saying will be difficult, but it's important. Have a conversation with yourself. Sit and ask yourself, because it's easy, if I was in a relationship with Victor, for example, and then we broke up, it's easy for me to now say, he's the one. What happened? He's the one. He did this, he did that. I could also be the reason or the cause of the breakup, you know. So sit and have a conversation with yourself, which means sit and gather up the lessons you should have learned from that particular relationship. Oh, it was beautiful, but I messed up here. I shouldn't have done this. Oh, he did this and I overlooked it during our talking stage and I still allowed it into the relationship and this happened. You gather up the lessons learned and then you move on. Again, I'm saying it's not as easy as I'm saying it, because I don't want to admit, but I've had a large share of this, and I can tell you for sure that it is not that easy. In fact, sometimes the part of accepting that the whole thing has ended can take like weeks first. Before the part of sitting to talk and gather up can take weeks and all. And what Victor said, which I completely agree with, just have someone in your corner to speak with, because it's heavier when you have everything deep inside you and there's no one to pour it out with, no one to, you know, speak about it. It makes it even more painful and more heavy. But once you have someone in your circle, and please let it be someone that can actually give you good advice, not someone that will make you worse, or someone that will like, go back, go, you know. So please acknowledge that, you know, the relationship has ended. Have a conversation with yourself. Have someone in your corner that you know you could speak, and then please move. You know. Please move. And most importantly, in the process of having a conversation with yourself, do well to flush out every bitterness. I think I'm at a point in my life where I don't see the need of you having like those bitter feelings against your ex. Oh, we had something beautiful in the past, it didn't work. Good. Respect I wish you all the best. I also move my way, you know, gone past when you're wishing hell for the person and all. Just do away with the whole bitterness, because I mean, having all of that still means you haven't healed, because I mean, we're also talking about the healing part. So clearing yourself, gathering all you need to learn, wishing the person the best, and moving forward with your head forward, no looking backwards, you know, and all of that. And that's like,
just to jump in on this before you come in there, you know, just one line now before you move on. Heal. Heal before you move on. People jump into different relationship whilst they're still hurting, and you carry those piece of hurt and then you take it.
I was actually going to lean in towards that which you have said, because I know that many times there's something we call trauma bonding, and so many of us do it, and we end up having the heartbreak again. It just becomes a circle, because even this is not just even heartbreaks from relationships or lovers, even heartbreaks from losing a loved one. I'm very big on that, because I had experienced it. That's one of the major heartbreaks I've experienced. There's no preparing for that. There's no expecting that. No matter how careful you are, death is going to happen one way or another. But you see, just like that, sometimes it becomes difficult for you to move on, especially when you've had that kind of heat. And the quickest person in your space happens to be the person you trauma bond with. So because they're looking out for you, because they're there for you, they have their shoulders, it's good to be there for your friends, but sometimes you need to give them space also, so that they can heal. I've said it that if I understand that a person just is fresh out of a terrible heartbreak, I will never date them until they have gone to therapy and they have been able to sort the problem, because it is very destructive.
It is.
if you trauma bond with someone, when you get out of that situation, you will start to see clearly. And then the flaws of that person starts becoming obvious to you. And things that you naturally not find attractive, the person has those things that is irritating to you. That might be a very harsh word to use, but some people get irritated by how someone eats, how someone does this and that and that and that. But because you are experiencing trauma and you bonded with that person over trauma, you don't get to see those things. You just amplify the part of the person that you want to see. But then afterwards, it starts becoming obvious to you. Is this how this person has been walking all along? Is this how this person is talking all along? And then you have another circle of heartbreak, or you end up breaking someone else's heart because your priorities have shifted. So if you're dealing with a heartbreak, the most important thing, like you said, is being able to admit it to yourself. There are stages of grief or breakup, one of which is denial, one of which is we have anger, we have all of these emotions flowing up and about, especially when it comes to romantic relationships, right? But the most important thing, be able to identify what your contribution to that breakup was, because we lie to ourselves a lot. When there's a breakup, it's always your partner that's the problem. You don't tell people about what your partner had told you that he didn't like before, that stretched him,
or you did,
or what you did. Yes, so we don't, and it's the problem with our society, honestly. We don't think about our contribution to the problem. We only just see what the person does. We don't talk about the parts we played there. But if you are honest to yourself, when you break up, at least you should sit in the dark for a while. Have an honest conversation with yourself as to what your contribution to that breakup was. Because if you move on to another relationship without dealing with that, you would do that in that relationship and it will cause you to break up even multiple times. It's not a cause, but this is just logic. Deal with it before you move on. Personally, I knew I was not in a position to love anybody at the time when I had that kind of heartbreak from loss, right? I knew I was not in a position to give anything solid to anybody. So I needed to take my time to heal first. And then after healing, I can now decide who I want to share what with. But this is it. And I believe that we've been able to help some heartbroken girl or guy out there. The most important thing is life will always continue. There's always another opportunity to find someone who loves you. There's always another opportunity to even find someone who will walk you out of that situation you find yourself in. But yes, sadly, we have to go. This wraps up the conversation for the Girls Hangout today. Remember, we are active across social media platforms on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on Twitter, which is now X. It is at Rapid TV. On YouTube, this Girl Hangout show always airs on YouTube. So you can go like, watch, share, tell everyone that you know to be a part of the conversation next week. But our website, www.rbnradiotv.com, allows you to connect here with us every Wednesday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Once again, thank you so much for being here. My name is Martha Alum.
Name?
Yes, my name is Yomazaka, and
of course, my name is Victor. Okay.
I will see you tomorrow. We will see you tomorrow, excluding name.